Hi there. This is a quick demo of a new piece of software I'm working on called PixFixel. It's designed to be used to fix problems in exported pixel art, particularly for taking upscaled pixel art and returning it to its original resolution. So it can either be re-exported at a higher or different resolution, or so it can actually be edited at that original size. Let me go ahead and show you an example of a use case of what this might be for. I've got here in this A-Sprite document a sprite that I made a while back. Now, I'm pretending that this is something that someone has sent to me to continue editing, or I've re-downloaded from the internet or something like that. And I know I need to go and make some edits to this in A-Sprite. But when I'm in here, I discover, oh no, this has actually been upscaled by 400%. Each of the pixels of the art are actually 4 pixels wide, and I need to get it back down to that original size so I can edit it more usefully. Well, I can take it over here into PixFixel. I can open a file and navigate up to where I've put this file, and that is this one right here. So now we can see I got this image open in here. I can go to the downscale tool in PixFixel. Using simple downscale, I can set a new resolution for it, which is going to be dividing these by 4. Which is going to be, get my math right here, 64. And something I can actually do also is these number input fields accept math because of the Godot element that they're built off of. So I can actually just type math directly into it to do that math for me as well. Now when I can confirm downscale, it got noticeably smaller. And now when I go back and export it by saving as, and I'm going to call it original size, save that. If I go back into A-Sprite and open a new file and pick that original size one, now when I'm looking at it, I can see, oh hey, there's that original pixel size. This background here is an artifact of the way that it does that it handles the transparency, which I will fix in the future. But you can see now we have original pixel size, so I can go and edit the pixel art as I need for whatever I need to do for it. So to go through another use case, and actually the original use case that inspired this here is a piece of pixel art that I really love by an artist I found on Twitter a while back called Chell. And I went ahead and I actually bought the digital copy of these because I wanted to cross-stitch it, try cross-stitching it on a bookmark. And I noticed, though, that when I opened it, the problem, if we look at this here, this isn't actually one piece of pixel art. Each of these pixels, if we zoom in real close, is about 10 or 15 pixels of the actual image across. Which means if I'm and it's not even scaled exactly, which is why we get these little blurred lines between them, because this was originally upscaled to fit exactly a 16:9 frame to be used as a desktop wallpaper. And that's great, but I can't then go and take this and put it into a cross-stitch pattern maker or edit it and expect it to edit these original pixels. So it's way, way too big. If I look at the tool over here, I can see that it's 5,000 pixels across, and I don't need it to be that. So in this case, what I can then go and do is I can say, well, I want to downscale it, but it's not just upscaled by some known amount that I can then decrease it by. I don't know the exact original resolution, and even if I did, those pixels are actually cut off a little bit on some of the edges. I think it's probably more visible over here. Like if I see over here, that's half a pixel there. So this definitely wasn't just upscaled by some round number. In order to get it back, I can't just do that simple downscale I did before. But what I can do is this interactive downscale tool that I've made, where I can start by selecting the center of any known pixel, and then pick another pixel exactly one away diagonally from it, one diagonally adjacent pixel. And from there, it knew, because it knows I'm supposed to choose that diagonal, that this is pixel 1, 1, 1, negative 1, where the first one was 0, 0. And now I can pick anywhere inside this lit up square to keep expanding those known pixels And as I do, that safe zone keeps getting wider because it has more information to use from these additional pixels. It uses those first two to calculate, well, here's about how wide we think a pixel is, and here's about how tall we think a pixel is. And from that, we're safe to guess you can probably safely pick another one up one more away. But now it has more data to work with, so it's safer to go even further away to pick a new one. So I can keep picking the center of pixels further out into the image as it keeps getting bigger and bigger. And now I'm going to need to zoom out to find some more exact pixels I can choose. I can get the center of that one right there. And I'd said that's a little bit off. I'm just going to move it. I can click and drag it to move that dot a little bit. And let's see, I'm going to go down toward this side here. I know that's a pixel right there. Go ahead down here as well. I can get that one right there. I can get this little one right here. It's nice and easy to tell the center of. Get this nice right on the edge star here. And eventually, let me see if I've gotten all the way to the other edge. Let me go add a little bit more. So now that I have I've added pixels all throughout that it knows the exact locations of, like that last one I added, it figures is the 160th front to the right from the original one and 2 below the original one. It has enough data to accurately predict exactly how wide the original image was, exactly how many art pixels it was, and exactly how it's been offset by cropping or whatever else was done to it to get it to this upscaled size. So now I can go and press this confirm downscale button, and now suddenly it's way smaller, but when I go and zoom in, it's still nice and crisp. Every pixel is exactly as it looked before, but now there's none of those blurry edges. Each of these pixels is actually 1 pixel of the actual image file, and I can see that if I go to the crop tool here, because for this cross stitch, I also need it to be a specific dimension, and I have this crop tool that's nicely going to actually snap to the individual pixels as I drag it, and we can see that it's snapping to each of the art pixels because they're now the same size as image pixels, 1 to 1. So I can keep dragging this to make it, I know that my bookmark is, I believe, 30 pixels wide by 148 tall. So I can adjust this. I can see the settings that it is at right now. I can actually adjust these as well by dragging or by typing in there. So let me go and get that at 30. It needs to be a bit taller as well, but I want to make the top taller. Got to get that up to 148. And I want to get that a little bit, those 2 nice connected towers centered a little bit, so I'm going to move left down and right up. Eventually I want to have it able to just drag the center of this to move the entire rectangle, but I haven't implemented that yet. Oh, and it needs 148, not 146. Now I can go ahead and press confirm crop, and I have this nice little sliver of the image that is an exact 1-to-1 pixels, not that 15 pixels per actual art pixel it was before, and I can go and save that as a bookmark, and then I can go and take that into my cross-stitch pattern making software or do whatever else I want to do with it now that it's at that original size. One more example, this does also work on screenshots. So if you have a pixel art game, like Celeste, for example, here's a screenshot from a particularly interesting part of Celeste. And we can see this is actually a JPEG, so there's a fair amount of compression artifacts. If we zoom in, we can see how a lot of these pixels, you can sort of see the outlines of where the compression has happened. But this interactive downscale tool that I have here will work even on this. So I just need to find individual pixels that I can pick around the exact center of. So I'm going to start right there, that's a pixel, and then go diagonal to that one. And I can say, well, I know that's a pixel. I feel confident that that is the center of a pixel. That right there should be the center of a pixel. And I can keep moving, keep adding more well-defined pixels. And it is harder to tell because of how blurry the JPEG compression makes this. But a little piece by piece, I can find rough estimates of the centers. And the closer in they are, the less that rough estimate will cause problems, because it is adding more data as we go to refine that interpolation. But I can say, yeah, that's probably the center of a pixel there. And let's see here. Where can I get some nice easy ones? That. Get that up there. That right there is the center of a pixel. I can keep moving out. I can say, I can line that up and say that's about the center. So I can keep doing this and keep finding the center of pixels until we filled out, until we've gotten this little barrier out to the very edge of the image. Get that right there. Right there should be the center of one. And we've got the barrier mostly filled out, it looks like. I don't think it's there anymore. I'm going to add just a couple more at the edges just to be safe. Find some nice individual pixels that are easy to find the center of. Okay, I think that looks pretty good. So now I'm going to go press my confirm downscale button again. And when I zoom in here now, we got nice, crisp pixel art here. Look at that. That's exactly, roughly exactly what Madeline's supposed to look like. This can't get exactly accurate to the original art just because the JPEG compression is there, but it has been downscaled to actual pixel art. So now I could say, go and take this little piece here, crop that out, and do some editing to it in Sprite or whatever else I may want to do with it. But now I've got it down to actual original size pixel art, and I can work with it like that. So yeah, I have plans to do a little bit more work on this. One thing I probably want to make happen is some sort of palette reduction and palette editing tool, especially for situations like this where the JPEG compression on this means that, like, most of the colors of Madeline's hair here, for instance, there's lots of different individual slightly varying shades in here, when the original art is probably supposed to be relatively, those are like only like 3 or 4 colors in there rather than this many. And that's just something that's inherently going to happen with the JPEG compression that was in this original screenshot, but with some sort of palette reduction tool, which does exist in other software, but I think it would be convenient to have one in here. I can get that to a point where it is mimicking the original pixel art as closely as possible by figuring out what colors were probably originally the same before any compression got applied. So yeah, that is PixFixel. Thank you for watching.